afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, April 7, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We talk a lot about ego having power, control. Truth is that the ego has no real power of control and cannot create 100% safety in our lives. Life is inherently insecure. Only death is a sure thing. We know eventually, all of us do know this, that we will leave these bodies. We are immortal supreme beings in these bodies. We don't die. We just keep doing our thing. We keep experiencing and entering physical form and experiencing more. And we continue with this throughout eternity. What we do. Imagine how it would be that all of us on this planet knew that through the heart mind, and we really knew. I mean, you could say that, people say, oh yeah, I know everything's temporary. But to really understand it, that everything is temporary, no matter what it is. We covet things, we attach ourselves to things and people, and that's why we suffer so much. When that thing's no longer there, that person's no longer there, because we become so attached. Knowing that we all will leave these bodies eventually, and that everything that we manifest is temporary. So we manifest things so that we can be entertained in physical material. But we also know that we are omnipotently powerful beings within these bodies who will never die. So it's like, say you become attached to like a vehicle, right? And you have it for years and years and years and years. And you get so old that you just can't enjoy it anymore. And so you just park it and let it collect dust. And then eventually you leave and someone finds it in a garage or a barn. So, and of course they pick it up and maybe they'll refurbish it and restore it, and then they'll enjoy it for a long period of time. So it's like anything. It's like a pair of shoes. It's a blouse, a dress, whatever it may be, a trinket. We attach ourselves to it. And we enjoy it. You know, we can't imagine not having it. But when we know that it's just temporary, so enjoy it while we can. Appreciate it. Have gratitude for it while we can. No matter what it is. It could be a pen that you've had for years. Nothing spectacular about the pen, but you've had it for years and you've used it to write a lot of things and do a lot of things, so you covet the pen. We know that the mind can only fixate on the false notion of safety and hope that this will come true, right? True safety only comes from being in touch with your eternal self. That's it. There's no other true safety. That's it. That infinite part of you that will never die. What could be safer than that? I can't think of anything safer than that. Everything in this world changes. We know that. I mean, from second to second, from atomic moment to atomic moment. The flux of matter is what makes life so exciting, spontaneous, and dynamic here. Your body is not the same body that you atomically had 1 year ago. And 10,000 years from now, you may not recognize or understand half of what you see. As long as the ego is in charge and thinks it's running the show, it will be holding every one of us tightly to the lie of safety by sticking like super glue to its comfort zone. And there isn't anything wrong with any of us being comfortable. In fact, it can become a precursor to a deep spiritual, mystical life experience. But the ego will often coax us to stay in this. It's an old rut or pattern, right? Just to keep its distance from the fear of the unknown. And it believes that it's better to stay with what it has known for years, even if it feels like you are shriveling up in some lukewarm bath where there is no heat, excitement, or pizzazz. And this could be a relationship, job, salary, overweight body, lack of vacation, or just a convenient, repetitive, daily routine. Now see, the ego would rather be comfortable in a velvet rut for 70 plus years than take a risk to step into true aliveness. This is, when you look at this planet, you step outside the ego mind. You're in the heart mind and you're watching, you're viewing. You're not judging or, ridiculing, criticizing. You're just watching. You will notice that the majority of the planetary population is bicameral. What does that mean? It's unconscious. Now it's a little kind of confusing for people that it's not really unconscious. In the true bicameral days of the civilization, bicameral literally meant unconscious beings. So they existed through life unconsciously. Couldn't really rationalize or anything, conceptualize. So, but today, in this very moment, this very now, the civilization is in bicameral mode, which means it is conscious, but it doesn't know it. So it stays in an unconscious mode. Well, then you begin to understand why we have been so curtailed for so long. Now, obviously, there's a cycle for all of us, and we're all on the same path. At times it doesn't seem like that, but we are all on the same path. Can't screw up our lives. No matter how hard you try, you aren't going to be able to, even though you think it's all screwed up at times, or useless, or, oh, why even try? I've had people say, why even try anymore? Well, trying's just an excuse that if you fail, it's no big deal. There really isn't any such thing as failure, wrong, right. It's experience. For all of us, we create and we experience. That's all we ever do, create and experience. So this is why we view things and we see them from a different perspective of saying, wow, are there really that many of us that don't know what's going on? It's difficult, right? For say you awake to a certain extent and you're looking at people that you don't have to say anything, but you're looking at people that are not awake. And for you, it's difficult to perceive how can that be when all this stuff going on all around us. How can that be? That's wild, isn't it? Because from your perspective, it's like, wow, don't you know this is going on, this is going on, this is happening, this is happening. It's just plain as day. To us, it is. But to them, it's not. They're in a whole different vibration. It's like you look at trees in the fall and you say, look at the gold and the red and the green. Oh, look at all those beautiful colors. And they say, what colors? That's the difference. You see the colors, they don't. They might see black and white. And I know it gets very frustrating for many people on this planet that, why don't they wake up? Maybe not this lifetime. Maybe the next or the next. So you focus on you. You really do. You focus on you. You go within, because there's so many of us in situations right in this now moment, just in this country, maybe your neighborhood, your community, that feel disconnected. Right? They feel lost, but they're not really lost at all. Bewildered, dismayed, confused, irritated. Should they kind of ramble along, so to speak? See, we send out, when we stay in place, let's put it that way, we have outer space and we have inner space. Outer space is what? Material, physical world. Inner space is the God that we are within the body. And when we venture out into the unknown, we begin to understand that there are many exciting opportunities and experiences that we were previously unaware of. This is what the vast unknown that makes up this universe truly contains. It's loaded with opportunities, discoveries. And there is much more of what we don't know in outer space and inner space than we do know. The ego is terrified of these infinite probabilities. Yet you can only access a truly alive and abundant life by doing the thing you're most scared to do. Have you ever experienced that? Something that you were always afraid to do. I mean, to the point, some people to the point where they just freeze up and say, no way. And then turning around and doing it. And that's true growth. True growth only really happens when we consciously choose to take that big risk, to move beyond our comfort zone. Right? Some of us have done that. We made a leap of faith. I'm going for it. I'm going to do this. And someone might say, oh, you sure? Are you sure about that? As if, well, we better put doubt in there. Oh, no, I'm set. I'm going for it. Now, it's like in anything, right? You can take any activity when you first start doing it. It's like in yoga while you're stretching may feel uncomfortable at first. There is a pleasure that comes from extending your limbs, breathing, and relaxing into a new position. This is the point where a new consciousness can be found. So, you start out stiff, and the more flexible you become, mind and body. Mind and body becomes the same way, because at first it's stiff and uncomfortable, and then it becomes loose and flexible. And the easier it is for us to move into new realms of thinking. If we do the same thing with abundance in our life, we will naturally attract a greater level of abundance than we could have dreamed possible. We may discover more about our hidden abundance comfort zones by answering some questions. Like, how comfortable would you feel? This is important because I'm sure you've come across this. Might not be, large scale, but how comfortable would you feel if someone gifted you a very large sum of money? How easy is it for you to ask someone to support you in creating abundance by using one of your business ideas? How would you truly feel if you were to all of a sudden receive an abundance of attention, love, support, and admiration? Out of the clear blue, all of a sudden. How quickly do you embrace new opportunities that could lead to more abundance in your life? See, we get them all day long. Actually, we get them 24/7. What do we get? We get things that kind of just fly by us, float by us, on a continual basis. But we get in the habit of just ignoring them. And they pass us by over and over and over again. They don't ever stop. Okay. So, excuse me, how quickly do you embrace new opportunities that could lead to more abundance in your life? Have you ever caught yourself saying, I wish I would have done that when I had the opportunity to do it when it was presented to me? Or you say to yourself, I wonder if I missed the boat. I wonder if I missed the boat. Now, action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. And action's interesting because I think we view it obviously in many different ways. But action, I think people feel that it's like moving or doing, like running or grabbing or pulling or leaping, and that's action. Or taking action on something. Opportunity comes by and you take the action, engage yourself with the opportunity. But do you know that by being in a relaxed state with your body, relaxed into the body, focused on your breath rising and falling, which means you're in the now, and you have left the mind and ego alone, that you are taking action. Choosing to meditate is taking action. Even breathing is taking action. But the rat race has been taught to believe through the human psyche, which is the society, well, you've got to be physically doing something, You got to physically pick up the phone. You've got to physically dial it. Or you've got to be there physically. Action is a lot of times taken in the perspective of movement. So you figure that every action, however you view it, right, you take sends out an energetic vibration into this world that is heard in the form of a request or command for the universe. Every single one. Everything that you want, need, your action is sending out a thought to the universe and your vibrational frequency every single time. Does that know? Most people don't know they're doing that because they are not mindful of their thoughts and they haven't mastered their thoughts and they really don't know what thoughts are. When your body takes action, it actually shifts the molecules around you on a physical level and is directly linked to the types of things, people, and situations you manifest for yourself. Your actions script your world, just like a sculptor molds clay to create a beautiful piece of art. Each time you say or do anything in this world, you are molding the energetic and physical reality around you. You are always taking action of some kind or another. Even sitting cross-legged, meditating in silence, is, like I said, a type of action. Question is, are you taking actions born from divine inspiration? Every time we take action with an expanded, inspired heart, we inadvertently magnetize more of what we truly want, need, and desire into our lives. Now, on the other hand, when we take any actions from a space of hesitation, heaviness, resentment, or a general lack of excitement, we send out a negative vibration, which boomerangs back to us in the form of unwanted experiences. An interesting fact is that the word inspired was derived from the Latin word inspirare. What do you think that means? It means to breathe into. So inspired actually means to breathe into. So you take the next step of understanding. We are literally, not figuratively, we are literally breathing life into our dreams every time we use inspiration to guide our actions. Just like breathing is natural and happens on its own accord, so can inspiration naturally arise within you. Being inspired is actually our most natural state of being. When we are the most relaxed and at ease, we are naturally inspired by this life. We can truly listen to our heart and know exactly what it feels compelled to do. Now you may notice, I'm sure we all have, how children are naturally inspired to do things, especially when they are allowed free time to be themselves and have fun with the other kids. You ever noticed how much exuberance they carry in the moment they realize they are free? You remember when you were a kid, right? And we had recess, and so we'd watch the clock, of course, and we would be able to go out and stretch our legs and run around and play in the playground. And so we would wait until the time of recess, and it was like we were being freed, just running around like crazy kids, without constraints, okay? Without direction. So we were allowed to be ourselves, have fun with all the other kids. Have you ever noticed how much exuberance that you carried in that moment when you realized you were free? Where do you need to realize that you are this free in your life right now? What if you were always free and were just pretending and playing along with some old story that you weren't? So the next time you are inspired to do something, do not think twice about doing it. Jump into action and do it with a smile on your face. Every time you take action from any alive, fun, inspired place, you're tapping into the boundless energy of your infinite soul, which will leave you feeling rejuvenated, more conscious and liberated. Spontaneous, inspired actions are extremely powerful vehicles for increasing our manifesting vibration. When they are combined with the fuel of a free childlike joy in our hearts, this universe will allow us to manifest anything we want in our life. Period. Perhaps right now you know that in this very moment there are those who are wondering how they can begin to feel inspired and take massive action in their lives when they only feel like lying on the couch and watching TV all day long. First of all, let's start with visualizing the ideal dream life that you want to create. See, people are told, don't dream big. Don't be ridiculous, okay? Don't dream big. Dream, just average. Be average about that. Why? If you're going to dream, you better dream as big as you can. Why dream small? You dream big and let your dream get you excited about being alive. See yourself feeling exuberant, full of energy, overflowing with abundance, love, and time. Visualize that you are having, doing, and living your life's dream. Allow these feelings to sink deeply into every cell throughout your body. Not superficially. Take it in. Now, after you've taken a few minutes to visualize this life you want, then take one physically energetic action that you want to do today. Yep, what? It may be going for a walk, riding a bike, cleaning your house, or washing the car. The more energy you can spend today, the more energy you'll have tomorrow. Yeah, like, for instance, if you're familiar with exercising, and you pretty much, you've established kind of a pretty much lifelong advertising, exercising process. Okay? And then there's times where you would miss a couple days. And you would notice a huge difference in missing a couple days through being lethargic, tired, stiff, not too flexible. And all you want to do is just vegetate, right? And you notice the difference between the exercise and not exercising. And so the times when you just don't, I ain't going to do anything, do it. The more energy you can spend today, the more energy you'll have tomorrow. And if you become, like I said, a lazy couch potato one day, you're just sending an energetic message into the universe to receive more sluggish, low vibrational experiences the next day. We are all of us, no matter what anybody has told you, no matter what society or the system or the programming or the conditioning, we all are incredible masters at repeating habits. The question is, what habit do you most want to be repeating? Now, if you get into a, kind of like sloth-like habits, slow. You're just kind of, you're not budging or moving for quite a while. Tap into the divine power of inspired actions. You start off by experiencing a super stillness inside. It's an interesting thing that when you stop all movement of the body-mind and rest deeply into the deep wellspring of stillness inside, a surge of creativity, inspiration, and energy rises up within you. You instantly feel more inspired once you reside in stillness for a few minutes and quiet that constantly moving body and incessant chattering mind. Now, when your mind is caught in this rat race, getting ahead in life, and you cannot seem to summon the energy to sit still and do nothing, just sit, as a suggestion, just sit as if you were a solid stone statue. The body will continue breathing for you. You relax for some time in this total solid stillness. Be patient. Listen to the current of energy and consciousness that is underneath it all. Now, when you cannot find stillness after many weeks of sitting, then you know what you're doing? Like a lot of us do? You are trying too hard. Let go of all efforting and just relax into your beingness. You do not have to manifest anything to be happy. Happiness is your natural state. Isn't that amazing? Happiness is all of our natural state. And when the mind has truly let go of attachment to all desires, you effortlessly discover a place where there is an abundance of joy bubbling up from inside. Many of us do not bring our attention to our breath. People don't. It's hugely taken for granted. The mind is used to being in control and leading the way through your life. Now, if you'd like to take back the reins, start with following the breath movement in your body. You will naturally harness the outrageous power of the mind. Harness it by following your breath very closely. Follow it as if you are going to catch the tail of a sea snake swimming through the ocean. Keep your attention on it as it moves up and down in figure eights, flows in and out. Simply go with however deep or shallow it goes. You soon access a great resource of energy, awareness, and inspiration by practicing this. You'll also find the silence beneath the mind chatter. And after a few minutes, a powerful awareness will ignite in you, and you'll find a great energy inside you. It is always there. Yet the breath is the key to unlocking it. By remaining for 5 to 10 minutes continuously following the breath, you'll reboot your entire system and open up your body-mind to divine inspiration. The breath is the life force of God. And by paying attention to its presence, you'll start hearing and feeling major inspiration everywhere you go. You are always breathing, so there is always an opportunity to follow it. It is one of the easiest ways to discover our natural state of divine inspiration, which has always been inside you. Sometimes we can become dry, or when our inspiration well is dry. You've heard about, writers and singers who are writing songs or different reasons that we become uninspired. We're not inspired. We just can't find that spark. So what you do is when that happens, you press on your inspiration pump just a few times to get the flow going. A few ways to prime your pump, including meditating on inspiring people who you admire, reading inspiring quotes, thinking about the greatest inspirational events in history or past, or contemplating doing the most inspired action you could imagine doing in your entire life. Ask yourself, what is that one inspired action that would truly bring me closer to making my dreams a living reality? If your mind starts to go blank or try to answer the question with logic and reason, prime your inspirational pump. Keep focusing on the most heart-opening images, actions, courageous acts, and feats of love you can imagine. Then, apply this energy to your life and feats of love you can imagine. Then, apply this energy. Simply take the first action step that comes into your mind without thinking about it. Take notice of any hesitant, fearful, doubling, doubting thoughts that arise like, what will happen if I do that? Or, is there something better that I should be doing? And don't buy into the story. Inspiration never came from over-analysis. So, don't try to figure it all out. Practice trusting your inner knowing knows what is best and take action. You will be completely amazed at how one crazy, small, inspired action can awaken a tremendous flow of inspirational energy and attract many amazing things into your life. When you just cannot imagine any inspired actions that make your heart sing, then go back to sitting like a stone statue for 1 hour in silence. When the mind is quiet enough, the inspiration naturally comes. Now, if you've done everything under the sun and are still not feeling inspired, your body is emotionally blocked in some way. There are many people like that. To relieve yourself from any stuckness inside, place your attention on the part of your body that feels most tight and tense, and breathe into it. Start breathing very slowly and deeply into this area, and notice if there are any images or feelings that arise. Whatever shows up, acknowledge it. Let it go. And then start inhaling the most exciting thoughts you can handle for 30 seconds in a row into that same area. Imagine you're doing these things that are truly exhilarating, stimulating, thrilling, invigorating, spine-tingling, energizing, and arousing to your soul. Then, take a 30-second break from all exciting thoughts and relax. Relax into the calm spiritual essence of your being. Pause and feel the vastness of this infinite universe you live in. Let whatever needs to bubble up inside you arise, and repeat the entire process. Let your breath be your guide, and allow it to take you deeper into your body. In a few minutes of this exercise, you can completely align yourself with your infinite potentiality of your being. Join you in a meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Observe the demands of others without reacting to them. Notice where they are coming from. Send them love and listen more closely to the soft, sweet voice within yourself. As you follow your most healing inner voice, you'll lead a life of joy and inspiration naturally. Good to know that the only demands ever placed upon you were from yourself. My internal world, I find it so much easier to make requests instead of demands. It's finally time to become even more gentle with you. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Monday, April 8, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on around you or within you.